ladies and gentlemen, to Longbox Chronicles Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a film from 2007. That movie is Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. Now, for those of you who happen to remember earlier this month, I did the previous Fantastic Four movie, the one that was made before this, the one from 2005. And I couldn't stand the movie because, besides the fact that I'm not a big Fantastic Four fan in the first place, that first movie had no goddamn plot to speak of. It was literally a 2-hour origin story with no real conflict outside of Doom just goes bored now and decides to throw lightning at people. That literally was as close as we got to a plot in that first film. But now we're up to the sequel, which features the Silver Surfer, a character who, while once more I'm not a huge fan of the Silver Surfer, I do at least enjoy him a little bit more than I do the Fantastic Four. So I'm hoping that the Silver Surfer's presence is going to make this film a little bit more bearable. Frankly, as long as this movie has some kind of a plot, it is then already superior to the film that came before it. I have no earthly clue if this movie is going to be any good at all. The only way I'm going to find out, though, is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. You know, guys, I'd kind of hoped that in the 2 years between the first movie and this one, they would have done better CG for Reed's arms. No, they really haven't. It is still absolutely ungodly bad. Holy shit. So far, though, at least everything else is a step up from the previous film. It's just, god damn it, man. That fucking CG for Reed is still hideous. Oh my god! Stan Lee's cameo was as himself! And it was a reference to the actual marriage that was in the comics. Oh my god. Okay. I believe, guys, I now have a new favorite Stan fucking Lee cameo. I never thought I would say that. Holy, that was awesome. As short as it was, that was fucking amazing. Well, guys, I am able to say this. At least this movie's got better writing than the first one. This actually has stuff in it that's genuinely funny, which is certainly, well, funny, interesting, entertaining. Certainly everything that wasn't really in the first movie. So, that much is certainly awesome. Okay, guys, I totally understand that this is a very trivial thing to wonder. Why the hell is the Thing wearing a fucking watch? I totally understand, guys, that Ben has been wearing this watch for almost the entire movie, but it has bothered me this entire time. It just doesn't look right for Ben Grimm, the Thing, to have a giant oversized comedy wrist fucking watch on. It just looks kind of weird, and it kind of sort of takes away from the overall awesome look of the character. You know what I mean? So, Doom brought his entire costume with him to this military base in Russia. I'm kind of curious as to why. Everybody knows that Victor Von Doom is Dr. Doom. The U.S. military willingly hired him. What exactly is the point of wearing this stupid-looking costume? By the way, yeah, guys, and his costume looks kind of shit in this movie. That is sort of worth mentioning. Why exactly bring all of this shit when your plan is to just steal the Surfer's board? I'm also kind of surprised that the U.S. military did not see this coming. I mean, he is Dr. fucking Doom. He did try to destroy the Earth before. Oh, and now the general's dead. Thank fuck for that. Okay, I have to ask, how the fuck does this plan even work? Alright, let me see if I can, so Johnny, because he came in contact with the Power Cosmic, swaps powers with anybody that he touches. But that means that the power that he has then gets swapped over to them. But if he links hands with the rest of his team, he somehow has everyone's power at once. That doesn't fucking work with the rules fucking established earlier in the film. This is by far one of the stupidest... Alright, and now he's physically laying his hands on Doom, but the powers aren't transferring here. You know, guys, just a bit of consistency would be really nice here. Perhaps, honestly, if they didn't go, you know what, we actually had this rule, it was built in, we're guaranteed to hang on to this rule, but nah, fuck it. Let's completely throw it, let's just throw it out the fucking window in the final act, because fuck you, that's, you know, why. This movie was sort of promising, but that kind of sort of ruined it a little. Well, guys, that was Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer. Let me shut that off. Ooh, boy. My God, that movie started off so strong, and that ending, just that fucking ending. Well, not the very ending. The very ending was alright. I mean, like, the final battle was okay. Well, no, I mean, the final battle's actually what fucking ruined it. What the hell am I saying? I'm kind of tired, guys. I think maybe you can tell. Let me try to run through this as best I can. Alright, let's start with the writing. One of my biggest complaints about the previous film was that it didn't have a plot. It was just the fucking origin story and no real conflict outside of Doom hates Reed. This movie actually gave us a fucking conflict, actually gave us a story, gave us something that was worth watching it for. And that, all by itself, makes this thing immediately superior to the previous film, but that's not saying a whole lot. But even then, our conflict kind of sort of feels like it's running secondary to what's going on with our titular Fantastic Four. You see, guys, everything involving the Silver Surfer almost feels like it really does almost feel like a different movie that's just kind of sort of running alongside this Fantastic Four story. If it wasn't for the Fantastic Four working with the U.S. government, hiring Dr. Doom specifically to try to stop the Surfer because the Surfer's leaving giant potholes on the planet's surface, they would literally be two completely different fucking stories. I honestly think that, I really think that the Silver Surfer would have benefited better from being in a movie that didn't have the Fantastic Four in it, and just swapped them out for just a team of random scientists. I think that would have probably enhanced the movie greatly, because then we wouldn't have had the bullshit with Dr. fucking Doom. We would have just have had like another scientist or some like random soldier who decides to take the Surfer's board and get all fucking power hungry with it. That much though I can tell you is this movie would have probably benefited a lot better if it didn't have the Fantastic Four in it. I really think that the presence of Reed and Sue, because those two are still, for the most part, just, you know, like personality dead ends. They are still they still border on lifeless characters, while Johnny and Ben still have a whole lot of character to them, and they really are the only likable two out of the four. So if we didn't have them in there, and we were just given four random characters, I think it might have been a little bit better. But you see, that also then would have taken out this idiotic gimmick in the film, where Johnny gets sort of hit with a blast of the power cosmic from the Silver Surfer, and now anytime that he makes physical contact with somebody, anytime that he makes physical fucking contact with somebody and the writers deem it necessary, he's able to swap powers with them, because there are a couple of moments in there where Johnny is touching another member of the Fantastic Four, and there is no hint of a power swap. Funny thing is, there actually is a throwaway scene where Johnny basically like hugs fucking Reed, and you actually see a flash there showing that there was still a power swap. But they didn't bother to do that with every other instance, so it really does feel as if it's only when the writers deem it fucking necessary. Now, the rules about this power swap are basically, if Johnny touches another member of the Fantastic Four, then they swap powers, meaning that whoever the hell he touches all of a sudden now is able to catch fire, and Johnny's able to stretch, or he turns into rock, or he becomes invisible. But the final battle with Doom has him basically linking hands with all three of his teammates, and instead of all of them catching fire, now Johnny has all four powers. Why? Because the writers apparently just gave up on this fucking gimmick and exactly how it works, and decided to just throw in this, and it basically is just a cop-out. Speaking of cop-outs, I want to talk about Galactus. You see, we are told about Galactus. The movie even teases this as this thing which is posing as Galactus is going past Saturn. We can see a shadow that looks almost like Galactus's iconic helmet. Now, for those of you who haven't read the comics, Galactus is just this massive titan of a creature who eats planets. He literally is able to, like, clutch onto and feast on planets the way that we would bite into a goddamned apple. Now, that sounds really cool. It would have looked badass in the movie. It would have probably been a little bit odd to see, something that big and bright pink armor like he has in the comics trying to feast on Earth, but it would still have been better than what we got in the movie, which is a giant fuck-off storm cloud. Jesus Christ. Yes, guys, Galactus is a big goddamned cloud. Nothing else. And towards the end, when the Surfer actually gets into the core of this cloud, we see this fireball that happens to take a shape which looks like it might have been the Galactus from the comics, but that, as well as the shadow on Saturn, are both basically just teases, basically showing us what could have been here. But instead we get a fucking cloud because fuck you. That's why. My God, guys, I normally don't complain when characters are changed from comic to film, but this one here is just absolutely disgusting. Galactus was an awesome character in the comics, and they turned him into a storm cloud. What the fuck else can I possibly say? And that honestly also kind of sort of helps the final act feel like this huge letdown, because you never actually get to see Galactus throughout the entire film, and then this big fuck off cloud shows up, and what do you know? That's him. It was absolute shit. And the whole fight with Doom and Johnny suddenly having the powers of all four members of the team, that also was kind of stupid. The whole thing with the U.S. Army trusting fucking Doom in the second act in the first place was incredibly stupid. Just the writing here, even though, guys, it does have a conflict, which makes it still better than the previous film, there are a whole lot of problems with exactly how everything was, written, and it kind of makes the whole thing sort of fall apart. Now, even though the writing is not quite as good as it could have been, I will say that the acting is still pretty good. Similar to the first film, the acting isn't awful, the acting isn't great, but the acting is certainly serviceable. The actors here are actually putting in a whole lot of effort, and I do have to say that I think part of the thing which makes Johnny and Ben so fucking likable is that they're played by Chris Evans and Michael fucking Chiklis, and they know how to play these characters, and they know how to play them very, very well. Everybody else also at least does a passable job, even though the script given to them is kind of shit. One thing that I kind of wish was not in this film, and was also a problem in the first movie as well, is the product placement. Yes, guys, I'm going to talk about product placement here because, okay, I kind of found it sort of funny that Johnny is trying to get a whole bunch of, like, marketing fucking deals and all this other shit, and he has a test costume which is covered in fucking logos. That actually was kind of, that was kind of a funny form of product placement. When we see the fucking Fantasticar for the first time. Which, by the way, that also was sort of cool that they actually worked in the Fantasticar into this film. I thought that was really cool. The fact that all three sections of it, when it breaks off, all have the fucking Dodge logo up front. Every seat has a prominent Dodge logo on the seat cover. You know, all of that felt absolutely unnecessary. If this thing here was a vehicle that Reed himself built, why the hell would he be compelled to put all these Dodge logos on there? The reason is because Dodge paid Fox to put that fucking shit there, and it felt absolutely unnecessary. That much, guys, is really... that really is about as far as my complaints on product placement goes, is it absolutely ruined one of the only interesting aspects of the entire Fantastic Four, and that's the Fantasticar. Anyway, special effects. Why don't we touch on special effects? Similar to the previous film, anytime any character has to stretch, it looks terrible. I used to only be able to say anytime that Reed stretches, but thanks honestly to that idiotic power fucking swapping gimmick, now anytime a character stretches, it looks horrible. They still have not put in any level of effort to make the fucking stretching effects look even halfway decent. So we get these terrible looking like stretching fucking like limb CG, which stands out. It really does stand out when all of our other CG looks so fucking good. Special mention will go to the Silver Surfer, who, when he is on his board and his body actually takes on a silver coloring, when they decided to put that in CG, you actually see everything reflected off of his body. So that means, guys, cars, buildings, people, flames, everything is perfectly reflected on his body. That is that is just a fantastic touch that I didn't think anybody would have bothered with. And it really does make the character look awesome. The fact that they made the surfboard just a blob of liquid metal was kind of stupid, but I honestly am not going to hold that. I'm not going to hold that against the film, because you almost rarely get to see just the board on its own. I will say though that any time that a character is on the board and they are given the silver like paint job, it is really nice that they are totally fucking reflective, and that is really cool. It really was a nice touch on special effects. And once more, that and Johnny's fucking like flame effects, and even Doctor Doom's lightning all looks so good that it makes any instance of Reed or any other character having to stretch their limbs look absolutely out of fucking place. God, what else is there to really talk about? Sound mix here is good. Our fucking like score is okay. Camera work here is good. Our lighting is good. Our coloring is decent. Ultimately, guys, am I able to recommend Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer? To rent it? Sure. If you see it on, like, Netflix. Sure. If it's running on TV, by all means. But to buy it... You know, I have seen this 2-pack in stores, and I believe also on Amazon, for about $10. That's still a little bit too much, plus you get saddled with the shitty first film. The movie is certainly good, but I would not pay more than $5 to own it. That really, guys, is about as far as I'm going to go with that. The movie is certainly watchable. The movie is certainly fun. The final act is really what seriously kills it. And because of that, there is no way in hell I could spend anything more than $5 to get it. Excuse me. So yeah, I can kind of sort of recommend it to rent or to watch on any site which might have it, or to maybe spend like $3 and rent it on Amazon Instant Video. Like, do anything along those lines, and you'll be totally fine. But to spend any sizable amount to actually purchase it, there is just no way. That final act just completely kills any hope this movie had of being worth a proper full, price. So yeah, I mean, I can still totally, recommend it to watch, just probably not to own unless you find it like, ridiculously cheap. Now, Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer came off the Amazon wishlist. The person who sent it in was Ariel, not a girl. You can find his YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/TVBRobotnikReturns. Ariel, not a girl. I do thank you, dude. Because, you know, I went into this thing, I was absolutely dreading watching this fucking movie because the first one was so goddamn bad. And I was pleasantly surprised at just how much of a vast improvement the sequel is. Unfortunately, it still isn't as good as it could have been. The final act, once more, absolutely killed it. However, I wouldn't have known any of that if you hadn't have sent in this, you know, 2-pack. And for that, dude, I do totally thank you. Once more, please, guys, head over to his YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/TVBRobotnikReturns. Now, you know, I kind of feel like watching another comic book movie. I'm right now just scanning my Blu-ray shelf to see what I can throw in. You know what? Men in Black is sounding really good right now. I think I'm gonna go watch my copy of Men in Black. That to me just sounds like something that's totally worth watching right now. So I am going to go and do that. Anyway, guys, with that we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.